There were many cultures in early Arizona before Americans came. Prehistoric people. Prehistoric people lived more than 12,000 years ago in the Ice Age. They hunted large animals for food and clothing, shelter, and tools. They gathered wild foods such as nuts, roots, and plants, and began to hunt smaller animals as larger ones became extinct. The Mogollon. The Mogollon lived in southeast Arizona. First they hunted and grew crops, and their village expanded. They were the first culture to make pottery, and they often relatives would live in one-room pit houses that were partly underground. At around 100 BC, the Anasazi or ancestral Pueblones originated in southwest Arizona, and they settled in the Four Corners. They lived in Pueblones. One of the largest Pueblones was the Canyon de Chelly. At around 100 AD, they started building villages. They hunted, gathered, and grew crops. They often held religious ceremonies and kivas, asking for rain and thanking their many gods. The Hohokam lived around 100 BC. It originated in south-central Sonoran Desert. They built canals to grow crops with water that flows from the Salt and Gila rivers. The Hohokam first lived in pit houses, but soon made pueblos. The largest pueblo was the Casa Grande. It stood for 700 years along the Gila River. They made pottery and jewelry out of seashells, and they traded for items they could not possess. The Sinagua lived 1,500 years ago. They lived in Flagstaff, Arizona. They built villages into canyon walls. The Montezuma Castle can be seen today. It stood for 300 years. The Montezuma Castle is about 50 feet high and contains 20 rooms. The Patayan. The Patayan lived along the Colorado River in West Arizona near Yuma. They grew crops in river valleys and hunted for small animals. They gathered berries and nuts. The archaeologists believe that Patayan also lived in shallow pit houses. The Salado made pottery and used stone tools. They lived in pueblos and cliffs and grew crops in valleys. The Salado lived between the Mogollon and the Hohokam. They lived near the Roosevelt Reservoir and Globe. These are just a few early cultures in Arizona.